Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching this video here. We're going to be looking at how to quote a commercial policy with farmers. This is a big process. It's a lot more in depth than home and auto or even health insurance. And so I'm going to take you through the basic details here. We'll get a little more detailed as time goes on, but this will give you a nice overview of what we're looking at. So first off, start in the farmer's dashboard, and you'll want to go to the business tab right up here. As soon as you click on that, you get this nice little picture of these couples. They change that from time to time. And down below, you'll see all the different types of plans that farmers write. It's all the different products. Don't get confused by all this. This is just basically to give you an overview of what Farmers does. And it gives you hyperlinks to go directly into those direct quoting systems. You can also go directly here to policy processing to begin a quote as well. Now you'll notice these three buttons also, you've got updates. That's anything new on the commercial policies. Product appetite guide gives you a nice overview of what Farmers is looking for, and you can do a search for what type of policy you're wanting to write to see if it works within the farmer system. Then you've got sales and marketing, some extra tools and nice little documents and things like that to help you along your way. Right now, I'm going to start with the policy processing FBIE. This is where a lot of our quoting is going to be done. And so just have this ready at all times. Now, it shows some of the policies that we've done in the past, some of the ones that we've tried to write, some of the ones we've actually written, and how the status is coming on each one of those. This is going to be a very important screen as you're writing more commercial policies to keep track of how everything is coming on your policies. Now, I'm going to go ahead and come over here to the left, and you'll see this little expanding menu here. I'm going to do create new quote. And I'm going to do, let's see here. I'm going to do a restaurant quote. Now, each one of these quoting systems is different, so you need to be aware of that. Effective date, that's obvious. Just click a date in the future. Future means future. Let's say this starts January 2021 on the 5th, okay? Producer, right? So that says what state it is. If it's 1, it's Missouri. If it's 0, it's Kansas. Put in your series code here. Mine is D. Business name, let's say, is Foodstuff Inc. Okay. Address is going to be 123 Main Street, just like all of my quotes are. Located in Grandview, Missouri. And the zip code is always going to be 64030. We're going to look up the company, and it's not going to find it. It's going to say, no results found. So let's use the info from above. This is a pretty cool system that can actually find businesses in the local area. And so we're going to do, what business is this? This is a restaurant. Search. And so eating places, SIC code, that's how it's listed in the state. SIC is very important. It basically describes what they do as a business and what's going to be covered. So we're going to select that one. Classification is going to be restaurants with no table service without commercial cooking. It'll be very simple. Eating establishments, and it gives you a brief rundown here. This is very helpful. You can choose different options here, and it'll tell you what that looks like. And you can read this off to the client to make sure that it sounds like the right kind of policy for them. Does the classification accurately describe the applicant's business? Let's say yes. And then the governing class code. This is also important. You need to understand what the governing class is going to be here. Now, most of these are not going to apply. The only one that really applies here is going to be the NOC, which I believe is a network operations of commerce or something like that. I'll have to look it up again. Eligible options, sandwich shops. We're going to say this is a sandwich shop, okay? All buildings must be in overall good condition, etc. Okay, it tells you the necessary items here, okay? And you read this off to the client and say, I'm going to assume this is eligible. Stop me if any of these are negative, okay? And yes, it is eligible. Click next. Boom. Now we are in the quote. First insured name is going to be Stephen. Last name is going to be actually Groggins, okay? And this is going to be Stephen Groggins, okay? We've got the address already lined up. Do they have personal policies with farmers? This is for discounts. Let's say they do not. which is rare. Most of these people should, and we're going to sell them into it. But for now, I'll say no because we don't have a policy number. Type of quote, this is going to be potential customer, right? You can also do a training testing quote to get used to it. I highly recommend that. But for now, we're going to do potential customer. This was bought out in 2012, and this person has had continuous insurance coverage. Yes. How many years of experience? They've got 20 years of experience. So this is a very experienced person. They do not have other commercial policies with farmers. Not insured by farmers. No. Okay, and then we just basically fill out all these pieces of information. And let's say they do have a van they use for catering, and we can just make a farmer's policy on that. Yes, we want a blanket to cover the building and contents. Not affiliated with a membership. Makes sandwiches and serves them to clients in an outdoor setting. No heat is used other than the grill for some of their grilled meats. They have automatic sprinklers and alarms that are checked regularly. This is good to have extra detail in when you're sending it off to the underwriters. The reason for that is because as the underwriters look at this, what they're looking for is the best bet. These are investors, okay? They're not just insurers. They're looking for a great opportunity to make money and be able to serve somebody when they have a catastrophe. So one of the best ways they do that is by looking for somebody who's really taking care of their stuff. Somebody who would appreciate a quality insurance company that's going to write a policy that has a lot of extra coverage. To be honest, farmers' business policies have probably the best coverage on the market. If you review in the appetite guide over here, in the product appetite guide, if you review what kind of coverage farmers writes for their businesses, it's phenomenal. Food trucks, it's unreal. They do full replacement cost for a food truck. They cover any loss of expenses if the food truck is damaged or stolen, any lost income. So it's really phenomenal. And they do this kind of coverage for all of their clients. That's why it's such a niche window as far as, um, who's going to be eligible. Business entity, let's say this is an LLC. Farmers loves LLCs. So if you come across an LLC, farmers will love them most of the time. Okay. Prior insurance carrier, let's say, was AIG, and their policy expiration date was, the 31st of this month. Yes. No, I do not have a hard copy of the loss run. No claims have occurred. Okay. Copy from above. No claims during that time. Copy from above. It makes you do this for every year for the past 5 years. So just know that as you're going through this, you need to ask the client, have you had any claims on your business insurance? And if so, when was it? Claims on a business policy is not a good sign, just to be honest. And then let's just do the primary package for now. Premier is excellent. It's got like 10 times the amount of coverage on everything, which is pretty phenomenal. So that's if they really want to make sure they have good coverage. Primary is for if they're just trying to get something cheap and get by. But it's still good coverage. It's just not like going to save your life kind of coverage. Well, I guess it would save your life, but anyways. Building 123 Main Street, excellent. If we do next, it'll take us to the building address. Make sure all this is correct. Yes. Okay. Type of risk is limited to no table service. Playground, no. Year built 1987. The building amount is how much the building is going to be covered for, right? So I don't know why that didn't work, but building amount we're going to do, let's say it's going to cost, 430,000. It's a pretty big building. Construction type is frame with some brick veneer. The roof is just it's a flat rubber roof. Number of stories is just one. And yes, it has a fire sprinkler system. Okay. Its entire building. And yes, it's regularly maintained. Occupancy is fast food without seating. Basement parking, none. Okay, and then it checks for these. Yes, absolutely. There is no drive-through, and there is a walk-in cooler. It's not a freezer, but it is a cooler, and it's pretty big. It's a pretty big cooler. It's 150 square feet, and there's only one of them. Okay, and the square footage of this building is about 2,500. Okay, the building amount, estimated replacement cost. That's always nice to have. So I'm just going to do that for this video. I know we got to keep it short, but it's always nice to be able to see. Yep, so 581,000. So I was a little bit low, to be honest, on the coverage here. So let's do that for 580,000. Contents amount, we're going to do 40,000 with a $2,500 deductible. Wind and hail deductible, they're not really worried about it. It's got a brick finish and a rubber top, so they're okay with doing a $25,000 deductible there. Liability limit is $1 million. Franchise, no. Total name of the restaurant, Food Masters Incorporated. Total receipts, this is going to be how much money that they make in sales every year. So I'm going to do this as, let's do 200,000. Catering receipts, 0. Don't do catering. I know I talked about that earlier, but they don't. Alcohol receipts, 0. Number of employees, 5. Total square footage occupied is a full 2,500. I believe that's what we did. Yeah, 2,500. Inside public area, okay. Outdoor seating area, this is going to be another 1,500. It's a pretty big space outside. Actually, let's just do 500 square feet for that. It'll just be a little patio. Banquet event room, 0. How it was direct measurement by agent. So this is something that you're going to have to measure and fill out later. It'll be good to have a quick quote process to be able to get an estimated quote depending on what type of policy it is, and then go out with the estimated quote, take some pictures, get some papers signed, and tell them you'll come back with any differences or changes. Seating capacity inside is 0. Any fat, no. Any deep fat fryers used. Identify the type of extinguishing. It is a water spray. What's the frequency? It's checked quarterly. Okay, quarterly. And these are cleaned weekly. 0% is vacant or unoccupied. Next. Additional questions. So this is kind of a long process. Just be aware of all these questions as you're going through. And you want to see if it's undergone comprehensive renovation. The answer is no. Wiring year, plumbing year, etc. Those are all pretty up to date. You know, maybe they did an update on the plumbing in 2004, so that's good. And then the heating, they did an update in 1998. And then they're not responsible for the parking lot. It's in a strip shopping center. It's a local alarm, meaning not connected to the police or fire stations. If it is hardwired into the police and fire stations, where as soon as the alarm goes off, it also sounds in the local stations, then that is a central station. But if they just have one that's just local to the store, then it's local. It does not have a drive-through. We already said that. There are no indoor stairs. It is open for business 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. because it's a restaurant. You got to have a few more hours on there. Does their current general liability or liquor liability exclude assault and battery? That's an interesting question. You'll have to ask the client that. No, let's say it doesn't. No. No, they don't have security or bouncers. They don't have any of these games. They don't have any of these fun things. None. It's a very boring risk, which is good. You want boring risks. You don't want interesting things. You want boring, boring, boring. They just serve food, and that's all they do. Okay, then this is all the coverage. We're just going to leave that as it is. And this goes to work comp. Oh. Situations that could give rise to claims. Optional coverages. They cannot be left blank. Are there any past or pending cyber claims? No. Are there any situations that could give rise to a claim? No. 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 Limit. Sure. That's good. I don't know what that is, but let's read it. Limit 50,000. Self-insured retention. Okay. Must remove EPLI coverage or add total number of employees for all locations. Well, then let's go back here and figure out what needs to happen here. What does it say? Values have been changed. Please look up the building amount in the building cost estimator section. So let's see if we can do 58 to next. See if it allows us to do that. See if it lets us go through now. And this is really a game of trying to figure out how to make sure everything is done right. EPLI. Employee liability, I believe. Let's try taking that off and see what happens. See if they like that better. Okay. There it is. Employment practices liability insurance. So someone can't sue you for your employment packages. Okay, then we go back here. Fix up this amount. Building cost estimator. Let's take a look. 581020. So let's do that. Next. And next. Sheesh. I thought this was going to be a little bit shorter video, but this is not looking easy. Red X. Let's figure out what went wrong. Oh, I just have to do this. That's what it is. Duh. I have to relook up the cost of the building amount based on what I put in. Because I put some other things in there. I put some, emergency stuff. Okay, good. Now it's all good. Now it's fine. Okay, great. Forgive me. Next. Okay. Next. Next. And then at this point, you do submit quote for pricing. So this is really what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to either go through this over the phone with somebody or sit down in person, take pictures of their location, and do all this information, then submit quote for pricing. Then what happens is once you've submitted it for pricing, it'll tell you what price it is. It'll tell you what options there are, and it'll tell you, what to do next, and then you submit it to underwriting from there. So that's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and save. I'm actually just going to exit this without even saving. But thank you for joining me again on another one of these training videos. I hope this was helpful. I know that it is a little bit more of a process, and I hope you get that understanding. So when you're going in, you have to go in with a lot of confidence and let the client know on the front end, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. It's very important to us that we write our business policies accurately so that you have all the coverage possible at the lowest price possible. And so then you go through all the questions and tell them what to have handy on the front end. We're going to create a sheet for that, and it's going to have all the details of what they need to have handy. But before we go to that, guys, thank you so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.